Good morning. Fuck. Good morning, goddammit. Piss and Vinegar Day 292. So, overhead press, 82 kilos for 6, not bad. Gonna get that 100 kilo overhead press. I think it's the only lift I'm genetically inclined in is the overhead press. Speaking of genetics, one of my clients today, it's happened a few times, but this client especially was getting bummed out because he's realizing that, well, he really enjoys bodybuilding. He's been taking his diet seriously. He trains like an animal, does everything the bodybuilder needs to do to be big. And yet he's now understanding that unless you have good genetics, you can't be a good bodybuilder. It's a stupid fucking hobby. It's cool, don't get me wrong, I love bodybuilding, but it is fucking dumb because it's the only hobby, or probably one of the only hobbies on the planet, where unless you have good genetics, you cannot be good at it. Like, you can be good at bodybuilding in theory. You can understand how to build muscle, and you can be really disciplined and do everything perfectly, yeah? But you still won't be a good bodybuilder if you have shit genetics. Sorry, but you have to have good genes to be good at it. And even if you have, say, average genetics, you can get decent, you can look good, but you'll never be exceptional at it. And in this guy's case, he has bad genetics for bodybuilding. And so I was talking to him about it, and I said, "Look, you got to be stoic with bodybuilding because it's the only fucking stupid hobby on the planet where you have to have good genetics to be good at it. Then there's no point worrying about something that you cannot change. You can't change your clavicle width. You can't change your muscular insertions. You can't change your hip width. If your hips are really fucking wide, oops, you suck, right? So in bodybuilding, like I do boxing, yeah? And in boxing, even if you don't have really good genetics, you can be a really good boxer. Mike Tyson, one of the best boxers of all time, didn't have the best genetics for boxing. He had good genetics, very explosive, but he's 5'10". And in the heavyweight division, being short's not a good thing most of the time. It's a disadvantage. Your range is quite shitty. But because boxing is nuanced and there's room to move around the parameters in it, he became one of the best boxers of all time because he understood, yes, being short's a weakness, but then it's also a strength. If you're short and the other guys you're fighting is 6'4", your uppercuts and hooks have to travel longer, which gives it better velocity to knock the motherfucker out. And you can hit him in the body better. So he would wail at the body. So his weakness became a strength. However, if your bicep insertion inserts 5 inches away from your elbow, that can never be a strength. That just sucks. And there's also nothing you can do to change that. You can't make that weakness a strength. And you can't change it either. You know what I mean? So even sports like basketball, where being short is a disadvantage, and ideally you want to be tall in basketball, there are plenty of very good basketballers who are short for basketball standards. There's guys anywhere between 5'5" and 6 foot who are very, very good high-end basketball professionals, let alone just good at basketball. There's plenty of short guys who are just fundamentally skillful at it. But in bodybuilding, that is just not the case. So you can't worry too much about how big and strong you can get if there's nothing you can do ultimately to change the ultimate outcome. There's a limitation, right? And there's a limitation to how good you can get at, say, boxing or these other skills too, for sure. But they're far more nuanced. You can be a good boxer with mediocre to below average genes and material, as opposed to in bodybuilding, you cannot. And you therefore have to accept that reality and take sort of a stoic approach. In Stoicism, if there's something you outright cannot control, a variability or a scenario, any sort of circumstance where you have zero control over it, like your muscular insertions and your hip width and shit, then you can't worry about it. You can worry about, your arms only being 13 inches and trying to get those to 16, but you can't worry about how the fact that your arms, even when they are big, might not look very good because the insertions are shit, or you have extremely fucking long humerus bones and shit. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I was talking to my client about this, and yeah, he kind of got it. And this is something I used to have to deal with a lot, was accepting the reality of genetics. And I wouldn't accept it, and I'd be like, no, I'm going to outwork my genetics. I've heard so many fucking retard natties say that. I'm going to outwork my natural genetics, bro. What? What do you mean? You're going to you're going to change your bone structure? Like, what, you a fucking schizo looks maxer? No, you can't fucking do that shit. And once you accept that, the bodybuilding hobby is awesome. You go, oh, okay. yeah, I can't be really good at bodybuilding. And maybe I should find a hobby where even if I'm not genetically inclined to do that thing, I can get very good at it. Or maybe find a hobby you are inclined to be good at. Like, I don't know, in my case, I have a natural inclination to be decent at guitar, plus I love it. Therefore, I'm quite good at it. But bodybuilding, there's no choice. So accept that, or you'll probably never enjoy it because you'll just be like, what the fuck? I suck. Because you didn't pick your parents wisely. All right, peace out, bye.